It's your favorite Black single mother here, Samantha, the millennial introvert. And today I wanted to offer commentary on Tony Gaskins' video. Okay. I just saw a few things I felt were a bit problematic and I wanted to talk about them. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to be stopping the video in between and I will be offering my commentary as I see those things that I wanted to comment on. So let's go.
Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Now, a lot of y'all sent me this clip about, my wife even sent it to me, the clip about Simone Biles' husband. And I don't know his name, Jonathan Daniels or something to the effect. And I believe he played in the NFL. He's in the NFL or played in the NFL. The video I seen of him on the podcast, the pivot, that's not the same guy that I thought I've seen in the past. Like in the past, I thought I seen her husband before, and I thought he had like long curly hair. Like he had like, I thought that was her husband who had like kind of curly hair and was doing backflips himself, like on the football field or something. And he was kind of muscular. And to be quite honest, when I first seen the guy, I thought he was a little, well, that's a derogatory word. I thought he was, well, what word for it? Well, the word I was going to use is sweet, but I don't know if sweet is derogatory. It's kind of how he looked. But then on the pivot, now he kind of got his rapper braid. He got his rapper plaits. And here's what I'm trying to tell y'all about looks compatibility. The thing about it is when a man is in looks compatibility and in dating, men are always able to get someone. Let's say if you're on a scale of 1 to 10 in looks, 10 is the highest, the best, 1 is the worst. Based on your features as it relates to societal constructs. So the beauty constructs in society are set by the movies, the magazines, the media. That's what we're talking about, right? So what we have to realize is these things is set, y'all. These things are set by the movies and the media. Well, if you see a man or a woman who has symmetrical features, like for the most part, their features pretty even. The features pretty even. And then if they have something that's unique. So it looked like, to me in the video, it looked like he had like lighter brown eyes. Well, that's not a common eye color for a black person. Although it does happen, it's not as common. Like, and just kind of look around and you'll see that. Typically when it happens from some type of cultural mix. Exactly.
Okay, so we're going to stop with this first. This is the first red flag or issue that I saw. When you have lighter features, it is called a mutation. The original man and woman are black as the night sky. Our eyes black as the night sky. These are the most protected features when it comes to nature. So if you are any lighter than that, you have received mutated genes that have held back the black germ within the DNA in your genetic code. And now you are what I would like to call is quote unquote watered down. So now your features are watered down with a lighter complected species or person. So now your eyes might be lighter, your skin is lighter, your hair is looser. Those features are watered down and they're considered in scientific terms a mutation. That's why Black people are able because he said this incorrectly, but he's going to go on to explain it incorrectly some more. But Black people are able to give birth to every type of person on this planet because we are the original person. It's just like when you were in kindergarten and you learned very quickly that you could put all the colors together and they could go into black, but nothing can go into white. So everyone's genetic code is within the Black woman and the Black man. So we can give birth to a white person. They cannot give birth to a Black person. Okay, so we can hold our genes back because we have the dominant gene. We can hold them back and give birth to other complexions, eye colors, hair types, etc. But just want that to be known. That is a mutation to have a light eye color. So of course, he is right in some regard. When people are shallow and uneducated, they think that these things are a flex, when in fact you're actually at a weaker point because of that feature. So if your eyes are lighter, you are more susceptible to eye damage from the sun. You have less protection. You have less melanin, which anyone who has any kind of, intelligence knows how valuable melanin in and of itself is. So anything that is lighter is more susceptible to being damaged by nature. So God created the original human being, which is the Black man, the Black woman, in a way that we are highly protected against things in nature, including, and most people will know, the sun. So you can get glaucoma or something, like you're going to get some kind of type damage when your eyes are of a lighter color. And this is based on scientific fact. This isn't based on like what Hollywood told me to think. Like, people need to be more thinkers, because a lot of people who are educated, one, you're going to be sounding crazy to them when most people in the world know the truth about Black people. We're the ones that don't know the truth about ourselves. So when we say things like this, we sound stupid to them. And while some people are paying to have the features that we like throw away or make fun of or don't want to recreate, we are literally trying to look like them, which is really dumb when you think about it. Like, if you're intelligent, you realize this is stupid. Like, why am I trying to be a lesser human being where now I'm putting myself in harm's way to the natural things on the planet that God protected me from originally when I was born? Like, he gave me these things, and I'm purposely watering myself down to look the way I'm thinking is the beauty standard. And now I'm in fact actually at more of a disadvantage to live on this planet and to remain healthy and strong and at my strongest. So let's keep going.
And I say this, and then people in Africa who live over there be trying to talk about the exceptions to the rule. But it's like,
they are not talking about the exceptions to the rules. They're actually talking about the truth. Because those people that they're talking about are within their village, their culture, their tribe. Like, they see these people standing right next to them. So in Africa, there are people that were not colonized or were not tainted by the lesser complected people, like the white people, Indian, Mediterranean or Asian. So they weren't affected by them. So they know for a fact that if someone comes out with blonde hair or blue eyes, etc., they don't have that in their DNA. They did not get that from a person, procreating with a Black person somewhere in their bloodline. Like, they know that came from within their own genetic code.
If you see let's say you see
I wanted to say really quickly, sorry for stopping so fast, but I want to say really quickly because I forgot to say this part too. The reason why he's saying that is because the majority of the people that do have these mutations are an entire um, I guess you would call it ethnic group. So they do look like, oh, you have it in the majority, so you're the only. So it's assumed that they're the only beings on this planet that possess those specific features, but that is not the case. But because America, of all places, is it's a very young country. America's only like 600 years old compared to other countries around the world, especially places in Africa. And America does not fully educate our children because they want to indoctrinate us so that we do have brainwashing and things are whitewashed. They want to make themselves seem more important as white European descent people than the actual original people, which are the people of African descent. So that we derive from. So they want you to think that, and then we do ourselves a real disservice as a Black people to go forward and continue to say the same stuff over and over and repeat this miseducation. And like I said before, people from other countries like Europe even who are clearly doing a better job of like educating their citizens about hate and racism and things like that. And then, like, if you definitely go to Africa, like you mentioned, then they absolutely know the truth because they are on the motherland, on the place where the first human beings were created and living. And then they have not only that, they have it within their family structure. Like they literally can just look around them, and majority of the people on that continent are Black, so they know when they see a person coming out with like some albino features or something, they know that that is a mutation. They know their families from centuries back because they were not taken from their lands and sent to foreign lands, so they know that person did not get their features from a white person. Okay, so let's keep going.
Nigerian who is darker skinned. How many darker skinned Nigerians, Ghanaians, Ugandans do you see with green eyes or hazel eyes or gray eyes, whatever they'll call it? It's not as common.
And you're not going to see that because obviously, like I just said earlier, the darker features are the dominant genes. So we are the majority on this planet. And that's because, as I said earlier, the mutated genes are essentially a defect. So those humans, they are not the majority. They're not going to survive. That's why there is racism, because people are worried about their survival of their own race. Black people seem to be the only ones that kind of take it for granted because we do know we have the dominant genes. We do know that we are more, we're stronger and we're more likely to survive. There have been several attacks on us since the beginning of time when we have come into contact with the lighter races, and they have tried to commit genocide on our race, and they weren't able to do it, because it's just so many of us. And even when we give birth, we have a place. I think it's a country, a tribe I can't remember if it's Nigeria. It's a tribe in Africa that they actually have like the highest rate of women who give birth to multiples. And multiples is what they call it when you have twins, quadruplets, triplets, etc. So our one birth, we are having like multiple babies in one birth. That is not as common for white women or Asian women or women of Asian descent, like, Indian descent, Arabic, or, all those other lighter, I just call them lighter races. It just keeps it simpler. But the lighter races, that is not common for them. So they're barely able to replace themselves, let alone now you're multiplying yourself. Like when you have a baby, you're not just having one, you're having like 3 babies. So it will be very hard to eradicate or completely annihilate and remove a race from a planet that can do that can replicate themselves at such a fast pace, because trust me, they have tried. And so you're not going to, I don't know how to turn this off, all these things that come in. Hold on a second. So you're not going to see what he's talking about is often because it is not normal. It is the exception. But we, of course, because we're in the evil world, the upside down place, the exception that is actually not good, we have made it the good. It's like, oh, it's rare. So now we're going to glorify it instead of glorifying the more beautiful features that are actually just stronger in every way, like that's going to protect you better. You would think it'd be common sense, but it's just not.
A lot of times when you see a lighter color eye on a black person, if you look in their genealogy, you'll see that there's some type of, it might be some French, or it might be some, Caucasian or something in there. And then because that blue eye color, because blue or lighter brown may come from this one culture, then the other culture may have dark brown eyes. That mix, blue plus brown, it turns into something else. And so this how you gotta evaluate this stuff when you think about looks compatibility.
And so that explains with his weird whatever this looks compatibility business is. But I'll get more into that probably in another video, because you definitely have to break that down. But it's unfortunate because he has a really big platform and he's teaching, like, basically teaching more self-hate and, perpetuating the colorism and the white European standard of beauty concept that's highly problematic and incorrect. But anyways, so hold on 1 second. Waiting on my groceries to be delivered, so I'm trying to make sure they did not get delivered. Okay. So what I wanted to say was, people are essentially, what he's talking about when he said culture, that's incorrect to say, use that terminology for that. It could be race or as ethnic group, but anyways, when he says that, essentially it says to me that black people are elevating anything that's close to whiteness, or they think is attached to whiteness. That's what we elevate. And I say we loosely because I'm not one of those people, but black people elevate any features or anything that they think is a white feature or attached to white anything, the white species of anything. So clearly white supremacy has done their job of convincing everyone that whiteness is supreme, which we're not going to do that today. But so for him to say that does explain, like, why that's so important for him to make everyone understand that he thinks that those features have to come from non-black people. And a lot of people think like him, and that's why they do glorify a lighter eye, a looser hair texture, lighter skin, because they are assuming that means you have a white person somewhere in your bloodline. And even though sometimes that is the case, it is not always the case. It is not the only way that it has to be. And it's really just continuing to prove the scientific fact that we created all human beings. So even when they mix with us, it just becomes another mixture that's a bit watered down. Sometimes we would just completely dominate it, and you won't even see that there is this lighter race of genetics inside of your bloodline. And then other times it isn't. There are no lighter race people anywhere in the bloodline. It's just black people literally possessing the gene code, the genetic code, to be able to create that DNA to come out.
And this is why I try.
And the reason why, I'm gonna say this one more time. The reason why, like, from his perspective, is highly problematic and flawed, because we are African American. And so he's speaking from an African American standpoint versus an pure African standpoint. So a lot of African Americans are having we are multiracial because of the transatlantic slave trade. So he's an assumption that, like a lot of black people are, erroneously so, that when people have these lighter features or these quote unquote mixed features, that is because of that. And it's common to us because that is what is common on American soil, because that is what America's was based on, and is still based on racism and slavery, and that's how America became America. And so for us, the majority African Americans, if not all of us, do have a high number of white people in our lineage, in our bloodline. And so to us who are not educated, we just quickly assume that if someone comes out with lighter features, that they got it from some type of white person in their family, because that's what they did, was rape and quote unquote breed and do all these disgusting, highly vile things to out of greed, to just and hatred, to continue to build America. But that just because that's all that we see around us does not mean that is necessarily the fact of why people have the features that they might have. Some people have these features because Black people possess all of those characteristics within our genetic code.
Tell y'all, this what I do. It's a science for me. So when I just be on here talking, I ain't on here talking like other relationship commentators. I really study it, and this.
It's sad that he's actually calling it a science, because it's actually the complete opposite of what he's doing. He's probably created his own studies and his own science that is not actually based in scientific fact, from all the other majority scientists on this planet and who have existed on this planet at some point in their, in the evolution of this planet. But it's kind of interesting, just kind of actually ironic, that he would say it's a science, because it's actually not. It is a science, but it's like a raggedy science. It's like I'm a ghetto science. Like I'm just looking around and just guesstimating some things and coming up with my own conclusions without really opening up a book or really studying anything in any real depth.
It is a science, and that's why I have coined the term looks compatibility. So
he's saying it like he's done something great. And we also have to remember that his wife is, I'm going to post her in the video when I do create the video. She is highly and ambiguous, highly, and what is it? Unambiguous and ambiguous, where basically you don't know what she is. She is definitely not a original. She does not match the blueprint of the original woman, which is a very dark skinned, basically black complected woman with black eyes, black African features. Like she's a complete opposite of that. So just keep that in the back of your mind as we're going through the rest of this video.
Simone Biles and her husband are not looks compatible. The reason being is because a muscular black man with symmetrical features and light eyes who makes hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars can have any human being, any woman on the planet. And that is why he answered that question that way.
He cannot have any woman on the planet. He can have women who are attracted to whatever he's got going on. That's who he can have. There are so many things about Jonathan Owens that I am not attracted to, and that a lot of real women would not be attracted to, starting with his rapper plats. Some people, especially when they know who they are, but even the ones who, like, sometimes it's just what you grew up around that you saw as beauty. It's like that saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That rings true. So you cannot assume, people will try, but I'm here to tell you don't. You cannot assume that every woman would be attracted to Jonathan Owens because he has light eyes and he's light skinned and he's muscular and he weighs this. No. There are so many things that go into attraction that is inside of your mind as a woman, as a man. Is such a complex thing that there is no one size fits all in any way, shape, or form. Because, like, for instance, when you talk to a white man who says he's attracted to black women, check out Roadrunner 95. That's his channel here on YouTube. And he promotes He calls it swirl to investment, I think, but I don't really like that word swirling. It's just too commercialized at this point and just has like some negative connotations to it. But his wife is black. She's very dark skinned black woman with black African features. Her name is Sandy. She's beautiful. He's handsome. They are just this gorgeous couple. And you can tell is the reason I feel like they're gorgeous is not only because of the way they look, but the way they are interacting with each other, how long they've been together, the things they've built. Like attraction has so many things attached to it. And the irony again, once more, and the contradiction again, and almost the hypocrisy is that Tony Gaskins is he's contradicting himself in his own what he considers to be a quote unquote science, because as he continues to speak, he's going to explain how Simone has more attractiveness because of her money. So a lot of things can make someone less attractive or more attractive that goes deeper than looks. Some people don't even date people based on looks. When I was younger, I actually dated men or boys based on their personality, based on the way they treated me. That's what attracted me to them. If they were nice to me, if they were successful, like if they had a car, like if they had swag, we call it a swagger. Like if he moves a certain way, walks a certain way, commands a room, has a certain charisma, that is attractive. Confidence is attractive. So, like if you say, like you'll see men who talk about a woman, the way she moves, like you may look at this woman and think she's not pretty, but sometimes when you meet people in person and you get the full vibe, you feel their energy, you get to see them in movement. Like sometimes that's why a video can make people fall in love with someone, especially like if you start to see people over and over and over. There's like this another scientific study that's just said that like the more people see you, the more familiar they become with your look, the way you move, your features, things about you, that will make someone to attract. They can start to grow attraction to you. That's why some people say, oh, that person's growing on me. So there are so many things that go with this. He's I guess for the purpose of his quote unquote science that he's created for himself, he's calling it looks compatibility. He's just being very basic with it. But there was nothing about Jonathan Owens that I was attracted to, starting with his looks. But because I don't like light skinned guys, okay, let's just throw that out there. I don't like light skinned black men. And again, that's why I say it's very complex, because when I was growing up, light skinned black males and light skinned women, but mostly I would, focus on males because I have a lot of light skinned women in my family, and they don't act like that. But light skinned men, they were always kind of knowing they were attractive because everyone treated them that way. So for me, because of my own history from childhood up to now, like that triggers something in me where I just automatically turn off on that. Like I don't care for a light-skinned black male because their pathology, their mindset is typically in a way that I am not going to like this person as a person. And the way that Jonathan Owens was behaving perfectly explains why I don't typically like light-skinned black males. Black males already have a very problematic mindset, especially in America. They are so tainted, degenerate, just so compromised that like their way of thinking is just such a compromised way of thinking, just such a flawed mentality, and a lot of self-hate there, a lot of confusion, just ignorance. So when I look at light-skinned black males, I just shut off. It's like nothing's there for me. It's just, and it's not anything to do with the light skin per se. It's the fact that the whole package, that it's a light-skinned black male, because I could look at a white man and have a completely different experience, like a completely different attraction level to a white man who clearly has his skin is a lot lighter than Jonathan Owens, but his mindset is so different. The things to me, I think is called a sapiosexual, like where people are attracted to the mind So some people, there we exist. Like there's some people who are attracted to the mind. And when I looked at Jonathan Owens, I thought he was younger than Simone. Let's just put it that way. He acts very immature. He's very childish. He gives an appearance of, I'm going to go and marry my mommy. For some reason, Simone seems more mature than he does and more intelligent, clearly, like way ahead of him. Because we already know women mature faster, girls mature faster, and that is a scientific fact as well. But she just seems like she's older than him. Not even the fact that he's younger than her. Like it's like she's not only younger than him, but she seems like she has surpassed his age even. And it may be because she's gone through more as a black woman, as a dark-skinned black woman, as a sexual assault survivor. Someone said she was adopted. So she's seen more of life. So she just seems more like mature than he does. And so I assumed when I saw them together, they're like, oh, he looks like he's the one that's 24 and she's 28. You know, she just seemed, and sometimes people may see that as a negative, like, oh, you think I look old? No, I don't think she looks older. But sometimes your looks can make you appear older, just the way you carry yourself, the intelligence that comes out of your mouth when you speak. That can be a compliment. But of course, America is obsessed with the most shallow of things. So we love youth and we don't value old age, becoming elders, wiser. We don't have a lot of value on that, if any. So people may say, oh, you're saying she's unattractive or whatever. No, I actually think that's mature. That maturity is beautiful. I think it's very attractive. And there's no way in hell I would have ever picked that person for her ever in life. We were in a live with Cynthia G, and I knew what she was saying too. Cynthia G is very intelligent, but I couldn't get myself around like some of the stuff she was saying as far as like the attractiveness of Simone Biles. Like I just couldn't get her because I have deprogrammed myself, and I followed Cynthia G for a long time, so I know she does not. She knows the deprogramming as well, but I just couldn't get it around. Like Simone Biles is a beautiful woman. She's very beautiful. She needs to be with a man who is having a different mindset and level of education, that he will appreciate her beauty. He won't look at her money because he'll have his own. And this is what I would be doing if I was a matchmaker for her. I would never, ever have put her with that thing that she's thing that I'm trying to be nice, you all. I'm trying to be nice. I would never have put her with Jonathan Owens ever in life. Ever the fuck in life. Like ever in life. She would have been with a white, well-established businessman who makes a lot of money and doesn't work for anyone. He is his own boss in his own right, because she at this point is a global brand. Do we understand this? There's someone in the comments of this video with Tony Gaskins who says she's in Europe and even she knows who Simone Biles is. Like a lot of people, everyone knows who she is, and I don't even watch gymnastics like that. I took gymnastics and don't even watch it like that. It's not this big popular sport that everyone's running to go watch every season, every winter season, or every, whatever. It's like, usually people don't get into it until like the Olympics come around every 4 years. So for that to be the case and us to know her better than Jonathan Owens, who is an NFL player, which means that he plays every winter on TV, we're not even sure, because that's how much no one's checking for him, that Simone needed to be with a non-black man. Because black males do not know how to appreciate the black features. They are ignorant as fuck, and they don't know. They don't know what we're walking around with in terms of our genetic features. White people know the truth. they are paying money to get art features, they know the truth. So only a white man or a man who is not black, but usually it's going to be a white man, will know I'm holding gold right here. I'm holding a diamond, a rare jewel when I'm having Simone Biles be by my side. I feel like I'm the lucky one. I feel like she is the catch. She would not have been chasing him anywhere. He would have been pursuing her, because that's what real men do. Real men are predators to some degree. At the most primal, they hunt and they find you, and when they want you, you will know. Nothing will get in the way of them coming to get you. That's why I'm on no dating apps, because why? It's like, for what? Like, the man who's supposed to be with me, he'll find me and he will hunt me down until he gets me. Like, I'm not chasing after anyone. I'm resting my femininity. I'm not available. I'm not overly available to anyone. I'm just existing. And that's what divine feminines do. We literally just exist. And our man, who's deserving of a divine feminine, a divine masculine, he will find you. God will bring him to you, and he will get you. He will come for you. You can even probably be running from him. He's going to come. He's going to come after you. Like, nothing is going to stop this man when he knows you are the one. Nothing will stop him from capturing you. And eventually you will fall for him and allow him in. That's that simple. Divine feminines are receivers. We are takers. We take. We don't give anything. Unless it's in reciprocity, because the man has already proven himself worthy.
Also told he swiped on her, and then she went to liking his pictures. And then she wrote him, hey. Now that's thirsty and desperate for a woman. That is thirsty and desperate. And this is what I try to tell y'all all the time. A man should always pursue the woman. So he swiped up on her, but he know they not looks compatible. And I know this is women, you're not gonna understand this, but just trust me on this.
Women understand it. This is why real women understand it. I don't like the ones who are insecure or whatever. I guess they don't. But this is why, for me as a woman, I used to never date any man that was lighter than me, because I felt like I was not the feminine in that relationship if the man was lighter than me. By almost naturally and subconsciously, like, I knew I needed to pick men who were darker skinned, who had my features or harder features than what I already have. So, like, if my hair is somewhat soft, his hair would be a little bit harder than mine, kinkier than mine. If my lips were full, his had to be fuller. Like, I would always just naturally go for men who had bigger, harder features than me, because I know I'm the woman. I have to be more dainty than him. I have to be more feminine looking than him. Now, I don't ascribe to that anymore, because my mindset and worldview, like, I've traveled the world now, and everything has evolved for me. You should be always in a state of evolution, but I've evolved as a thinker, as a woman, as a human. So that does not apply to my pathology anymore. But I know exactly what he's talking about. But like he said, I don't think that that's common, that women understand that. And especially, like, girls may not understand that. Because I did see, like, dark-skinned, like, black girls going for, like, light-skinned guys. And I just thought that was, like, so weird. Because I was like, he looks like more feminine than she does, because his features are lighter. But yeah.
Not looks compatible. Okay? A guy who has everything that he has in his life and all of that features or whatever that are symmetrical, he literally could have any woman. And so that's why, but his wife is much bigger than him and is a brand, and she makes way more money than him. So he is insecure. And he does not.
They're actually both very highly insecure. I have to correct him when he says he can have any woman, because he can't. And then Simone could have any man, but what it comes down to for the both of them is confidence. When you have confidence, you can have anyone you want to have, no matter what you look like, no matter what you make in the bank. Like, it just trumps everything. And loving yourself internally and infinitely will always trump everything else. Because when you love yourself, it's like you're putting it back out into the universe, that people will only love you. So people tend to like people who they love people who love themselves. Like, people can tell when someone loves themselves. They carry themselves a certain way, they talk a certain way, they have certain things. They just move different in life. They just movers and shakers. They move differently. I can't explain it. And so when you have that, something, the French will call it je ne sais quoi, like it's something about that person, that aura that they're giving off, that they literally could pull anybody that they want if they have that. So I personally feel if Simone was more developed, because she is so accomplished. And the cool thing is, I realize she does know, she is aware. Because some of the things he said, that the husband, Owens, said about his wife, it made me comfortable and happy to know, like, okay, she is aware of, like, who she is. Like, this woman is incredible. She's almost like superhuman to me. She's just amazing. Like, she's I wouldn't even say she's superhuman. I feel like the melanin that she has in her does allow her to accomplish things that a lot of other gymnasts are not going to be able to accomplish, just because they don't have the same genetic features and code. So she has learned, her body is just able to do things that theirs won't ever be able to do. And that's why a lot of people don't like competing against Black people, because they're aware, like, we do have an edge, we do have an advantage on them. And no one's really going to admit that, because we live in a white supremacist world at this moment, but that's just facts. And so I was happy to see that at least she knows that much, and she has to, because if you're a competing athlete, like, you have to have confidence in yourself, if for nothing else but to compete. So she may have confidence in her abilities as a gymnast, but she may not know her confidence. She may not have confidence and know her power as a woman, and as a Black woman, and as a dark-skinned Black woman, and as a wealthy dark-skinned, like, she doesn't understand those things yet. And I think that's something you have to grow into. You're not going to typically see that right away with anybody that's that age. You know, some women may use their sexuality, but I don't think women really realize the power that they hold between their legs, as our elders have said in the past, until you're like in your 30s or 40s. That's why some men only date older women, because they realize it's like kind of like, once you go Black, you don't go back. Like, once you go older, you're not going to be able to deal with, like, a younger woman, because she's going to be just not as developed mentally, physically, monetarily. Like, she's just not going to be established. It's just different. It's like she's built different. She's still growing. She's still evolving. That's why any older woman who understands these things, they don't see a younger woman as competition. It's like, she will never be me until she is my age. And then by the time she's my age, I'm even older. So I'm always packing on this wisdom and this essence that she has not yet achieved. And it's not a competition. If anything, it's more, I want to teach her. I want to bring her up. I want to protect her. I am my sister's keeper. I am auntie, you know. I'm the elder. I'm your grandmother. I'm your, big mama, whatever you want to call it. I'm the matriarch. So people just who are intelligent get that. They just get it.
like that. He also exhibited some red flags right there in the little clip that I seen, because he said he always says the man is the prize. That's toxic. And for him to say that publicly lets me know that she may go through verbal and emotional abuse privately. She want to be married. She don't want to be one of these women that's an athlete that never gets married, that don't have kids. Now, she is a cute young lady, but you have to understand the grand scope of women, and you have to understand also society and media. You got to understand the marketing of the media, you know, basically the marketing of the beast. And when you understand these things, then you'll understand, like, there's a big difference between the way we see J-Lo, like Jennifer Lopez, or the way you see Halle Berry or Eva Mendes or Sanaa Lathan. Why? Because this is what's pushed. This was promoted. Notice that when you think about the media, you really can't think of they don't really promote brown-skinned women, which is sad. But this is the reality of it. And that's why I try to tell you. I explain it, but I'm not excusing it. I'm explaining it to you so you understand what you're a part of. When you see brown-skinned women, our promotion of that in the media is Viola Davis, Angela Bassett. And those looks are not praised as much as Halle Berry was, or what's the lady name? Angelina Jolie, Eva Mendes, Salma Hayek. Now, these other women, and then even the imagery. So, like, look at the roles they give to Taraji P. Henson. You know, she's a beautiful lady. Nia Long, you know, she's brown skinned. She's a beautiful lady. But Nia Long didn't get that big. She never got as big as Viola Davis. So it's like when they promote a certain look, then they typecast them. So this goes into what people don't realize is this is how men are programmed. Now, women are programmed as well, but women more often break the programming, but not really. Women break the programming because men are providers. So what you have, what was shown with the guy, Simone Biles' husband is what I call him, because his name's slipping me. I think it was Jonathan Owens, or Benjamin Owens or something. But I don't have a clue who he is, in the sense of I watch a little bit of football. Yeah, I got a suite at the stadium. I played football in college, but when you grown and you busy, on the level that I am, I don't have time to sit down and watch a game for 3 hours. When I turn the game on, I'm doing something on my laptop too. I'm not finna sit and watch another man for 3 hours unless I'm physically at the game, and even then I'm doing something on my phone. But so I don't know who the gentleman is, but I know Simone Biles. And I kind of know Simone Biles because my wife is big into the Olympics, but who isn't into the Olympics? And he said he didn't know who she was, which I find that very hard to believe. But that's the same thing that gold digging women be saying when they meet a celebrity man. Now, the reason why he got with her is because of her brand. He's not going to get with her because I want you to think about every athlete that you could think about. Which one of the athletes who meet their woman while they are a pro got a woman that's Simone Biles' height, first of all, got a woman that is Simone Biles' complexion and Simone Biles' features? Which one? There isn't one, because of societal programming. He would never pick a woman who looked like Simone Biles. And I'm not saying she looked bad. But what I'm saying is, what is promoted, what do you see promoted? Racially ambiguous. Long black hair, long flowing hair. Racially ambiguous meaning they could look Asian, black and white, Hispanic and black, Hispanic and white. It's not like a clear race that you can just easily tell when these guys pick a woman when they in the league. And then no guy picks a woman that's under 5 feet tall. No guy picks a woman. I remember I was coaching a very beautiful woman who was 5'3", and I was doing matchmaking for her, and I reached out to one of my clients who, unfortunately, he was 6'10" in the NBA, and he said she's too short. And I told her that, and she was offended. She was appalled. She was like, I have never heard that before in my life. I've dated guys that are that tall. I've never once heard that. I say, hey, men have preferences too. So he said, you too short. Now, 4'11", that's what Simone Biles is. She like 4'11", I think. Now, that's just unheard of. It's just unheard of. But because she's a millionaire and because she globally recognized, he talking about, I knew she was somebody because she had, it's like, boy, you watch ESPN. Not finna watch ESPN and not see Simone Biles. Come on, bro. Come on now. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. That's real disrespectful. But this is the thing. He knows why he got with her. He know it. Yeah, she's a great. Other lesson is this is what can happen when you get beyond looks. So she is what you would call cute. What I mean by cute is like it's hard to be anything other than cute at 4'11", because 4'11" is like my 9-year-old son. And so this is what you have to realize, that is seen as cute. A man never gonna.
That's a lie. That's a whole lie. I'm so tired of this stuff popping up. I need to learn how to figure out how to turn off these calendar alerts that I don't pay damn bit of attention to. But that's a lie. You can be 4'11" and be sexy. She is a sexy, beautiful woman. She doesn't know it. And she doesn't really carry herself like she should. She's acting more like his little sister or a friend or something, but it doesn't have anything to do with height.
Describe that as like gorgeous or what have you. And to the ladies, get out y'all feelings. I'm trying to explain something to you. Now, y'all tell.
It's not feelings, it's facts. Like, you're not the guy. You're not speaking for all men. I hate when people get online and talk about stuff for all men in the world. Like, you're only speaking for yourself. I've been called sexy my entire life, even when I was underage, by a boyfriend or whomever. So, yeah, no, that doesn't go together. Like, I bet if the woman was ambiguous for Tony Gaskins, he would be like, she's gorgeous, or however he said it. But the fact that she's a black woman, of course, you can try to dog her because of height, because of everything about her. You can definitely be beautiful and gorgeous and sexy and be 4'11", because not every guy is 6'10". Some of them are 5'7". Some of them are 5 foot. So, yeah, there really is someone for everyone.
On here to be real. Then when I be real, you be in the comments complaining. So listen to me. I'm breaking it down to male psychology so you understand this. And so this gentleman got with Simone Biles. Now, Simone Biles, because of her like natural look, meaning being a cute, smaller, petite lady, her ideal mate would be a 5'6", dark skin, software engineer or IT person, or like a 5'6" athlete who has nothing special about him, like nothing unique. Like her husband has a unique, he has a unique feature in the sense of it looked like he had lighter eyes. So not everybody's gonna have that. So he has a unique feature. He also has a unique feature because he's his stature. Because being an NFL player, you gotta be built a certain kind of way. So that's another unique feature that every man beside him, not every man is gonna have. And so this is what you have to understand with this looks compatibility. So what he's shown in that is he made it true. He reinforced what so many women say is true, is that a man cannot handle being with a woman who make more money than him. And I think he reinforced that. What he also showed for the people who know me and who watch my videos all the time, he also reinforced what I told y'all about looks compatibility. How the only time people get together when they're not compatible is when there's some other incentives, like how much money a person makes. Now, Simone Biles, because of her money, because of her fame, can have any man. Can have any man on the face of the planet who just want that cachet. And see, his career is going to be a lot shorter than her career. He played football. So, unless he way younger. But, you know, Simone, and even when she done, she still could do stuff to make a lot of money because her endorsements can last forever, just like Shawn Johnson, the white young lady who was a gymnast, and she's small like Simone, and her husband is huge. Like she got, I think, like an NFL husband, which probably made Simone want an NFL husband, because Shawn Johnson, I think, got an NFL husband. And again, Shawn Johnson with her husband is not necessarily looks compatible either. But men can be gold diggers too. So if they see a woman brand and they see her status, they'll get beyond her stature, you know, her size and her look. And they'll get to know the woman as a person, and then they see like, man, she's really fun, she's really cool, and they get beyond that. Now, this is a sad truth. Now, this is an unfortunate truth, but they out there in the media, so I got to talk about it because it's in the media, and we seeing this imagery. And so a lot of people are, you know, they going off on the guy, but in this situation, financially, Simone is the catch. On looks compatibility, he would be the catch, because that's why she got thirsty. That's why she went to like some of his pictures. That's why she wrote him first, hey, because she knows that's out of her look scale. She knows that typically a guy who has all his features proportionate and is a black man with a lighter colored eyes, she knows that he can get the 5'6", 5'9", perfectly proportionate body, you know, breasts, buns, you know, hips, thighs. She could be brown skin, dark skin, green eyes, blue eyes. She could be lighter skin, she could be white, she could be racially ambiguous, long flowing hair, like natural hair that go to her butt.
So ironic that Tony Gaskins is racially ambiguous, because that is his wife. And what is his unique feature? Oh, light eyes. Isn't that interesting? And regular black guy, African American guy, who, you know, his looks are decent, but they don't really stand out like that. And he's got his light eyes, which to me personally, I am not a fan of lighter eyes. They kind of freak me out, but he is correct that a lot of people, because of white supremacy and conditioning, see light eyes as a flex, see light eyes as a unique, positive feature, like a good thing. And so it's just interesting if you put the parallels together. He's essentially explaining himself. He went and got the taller woman who is 5'9" or 5'7" or something. She doesn't look that tall to me, but I'm assuming she's a little taller, because I don't know how tall he is either. He actually doesn't look that tall to me either, but that's neither here nor there. he got the taller woman that's not 4'11", and she does look ambiguous, like no one knows what she's mixed with or what she's doing. So he's essentially explaining himself.
She knows that his type typically is with the complete opposite of her. So she say, hey, he on this app, I'm on this app, I'm finna shoot my shot. And that's what I tell y'all women about shooting your shot. When you offer something to a man, she offered herself to him. Then she drove 45 minutes to see him, and he made a point to tell us she drove 45 minutes to see him. So he is telling her in her face, in front of the world, that he is the catch. She need to run. She need to run. Sister, I'll be filing for divorce. Sister, I'll be filing for divorce. If that was my sister, if she was my sister, my family member, a young lady I coach, hey sister, you might want to think about that divorce. Either that or he need to come see me for 12 coaching sessions. He need to talk to me because I need to talk to him about that raggedy mindset. He got a red pill mindset. When he say men is the prize, ain't nobody the prize, for one. But when he say, I always say the men is the prize, that's a red pill mindset.
Tony is lost. The woman is the prize. The woman is the prize. Any man who seeks a wife, any husband, like if he's a husband material minded man, if he's a husband, he's been raised to be a husband, he knows how to be a husband, he's going to be a real husband. He knows what he's looking for in a woman to be his wife. He knows that his wife is the prize. That's why real men will call their wives their better half. I know when I was trying to work on my relationship with my ex-husband, the woman who was our therapist at the church was saying that because of the grace, that I was basically extending grace over him. Women have a lot of power that we just don't even realize, and it's sad to see. The fact that we can create life in and of itself is like an entire miracle. Trust me, real men know. I would honestly say all men know. Some of them are disillusioned or just, goofy, like they do have a jacked up mindset where they don't really know any better. But men who know, real men know. They know their wife is the prize. The woman is the prize, especially if she's wifey material, like mainly if she's wifey material. Like if she's like a cookie head, like she's a chicken head who's just out there sleeping with everything, doesn't know how to invest money into multiplying it into something great, isn't a good mother, doesn't know how to cook and keep the house clean, even if she's not cleaning herself. Like she hires somebody, but doesn't even know what to look for to keep to know what a clean house looks like, or so on and so forth. Then no, she's not a prize. So I'm not saying every woman is the prize, but men choosing well, the woman is the prize. She just is. Like the man is just never going to be that. Period.
If Simone ain't careful, when his career is over and he's a bum, like if he don't get to be like Michael Strahan or do like what these guys doing on the podcast he went on, if he don't find a moneymaker, she gonna be getting choked. That mindset lead to getting choked. So Simone, if you see this,
yeah, she will be getting abused. She will be getting hands and feet put on her if she's not having that already. Also, the NFL players, they get that, what's it called, CTE? Like it's like something happening with their brain because they're getting hit a lot. So they end up having like these concussive disorders that cause them to basically like go crazy. It kind of reminds me of like I think it's like a Rottweiler where their brains just get smaller over time, and then they turn on their masters and like are attacking their families, their own family, but that they're meant to protect. And so that's kind of like what it seems like the football players do. They turn on their own families and attack them and unalive them. She's also going to be getting cheated on a lot. if it hasn't started already, or has, like, you can look at a Derek Jackson. That's like a textbook example with Danae Jackson. She reminds me of a Simone. She's a good girl, pretty, could really get any man that she wants if she knew how to carry herself and what her worth is. And she just was, her husband was ran through. Like, he was just running through all these females. And she knew it since college. Like, before she even married him, she knew she was one of many women. And it makes me feel like Simone kind of low-key knows this too. And that's why she is online. I'm gonna do another video of her response that she just did to the what she considers haters. I think a lot of people, some people are hating. There are a lot of people out there hating. There are people out there who are jealous, who are hating, and I don't blame her for kind of like being like sensitive to it, because there's these clowns who have been talking crap about her since like the beginning, since she ever came onto the scene. They've talked about her hair. They've talked about this. They talked about that. Just haters, just silly clowns that wish they could have an iota of her skill and talent, and her money and wealth and esteem and fame, and they don't have it, and they never will. But there's a section of us who really just love Simone Biles. Like, we love ourselves as Black women, and so we see a reflection of her in ourselves. We love you, girl. And that's why we're talking, we're speaking out, we're trying to save you. You may have someone like Tony Gaskins. Me personally, I feel like could be grift. He's more of like a grift, like the people he's trying to talk about. A lot of times men project. Like, the stuff they talk about, they're projecting, like that's what you're doing yourself. Just some of the things he's saying, and the way he's living his life, it feels disingenuous, what he's talking about. And I feel like you said, someone sent this over to him. So it wasn't like he was triggered and had a deep down desire, like, I have to speak on this. It was like, oh, someone's sending this to me. It's a popular topic. Let me do a video on it so I can get views and likes. And someone called my video clickbait, which is hilarious. I'm like, no, I'm a whole Black woman who's 5'3", who Tony Gaskins is talking about. Like, I'm literally Simone Biles in the physical aspect of it. I'm a Black woman. I consider myself to be darker skinned, complected, as far as like America goes. And I'm a shorter woman. I'm 5'3". Yeah, what some guys will be like, oh, that's not attractive. You're not ambiguous. You're not light skinned. You don't have long, straight hair or loose, curly hair or blah, 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 blah. But because I know that those men are not looking for women like me, which of course there are a lot of men that are, who are Black, who are looking exactly for women like me. Because I've actually had a lot of men who actually said the opposite. They love dating short women, even tall men. That's what they're attracted to. Some men don't want to date a woman that's as tall as him. I mean, they may see it as more of a masculine thing. So even what Tony Gaskins is saying is just kind of like very narrow. Viewpoint is very small minded, narrow minded. Like, I've never had an issue dating, let's just put it that way, or marrying. I just never had that problem. And I used to exclusively date and marry only men over 6 feet tall. And I'm 5'3". I've never had an issue. So yes, Simone's a little bit shorter than me, but her height is not even what matters, because most men prefer women to be shorter than them. Most men are not going to date a woman that's their height, and God forbid taller. They see it as a threat. They see it as a more of a masculine trait to be that tall. So that's something that is just not, it's not true. It's just not true. I've had men actually come up to me and tell me they prefer to date women my height, like young, shorter women. That's their preference. I've seen the proof in the pudding where my ex, my children's father, all the women he's dated before me look like me. Like, he literally, that's his preference. That's his type. We all have a type. My type was dark skinned men over 6 feet tall. His type was women that look like me, brown skinned, dark skinned women who were a little bit shorter, like 5'3", and he's a narcissist. So, narcissists tend to be, they're kind of like that overly hyper masculine, toxic type masculinity guys. So they definitely will want their woman to be smaller than them. They're not going to want a woman that is just as big as they are. That's not going to happen. No. Nope. He's never gonna date a woman over 5'5". Like, that's just too close to his height, and he's just not gonna be attracted to it.
I mean, he exhibited a major red flag. And if you watching this and he done like made you cry with his words, like stuff he done said to you behind closed doors, you give it another post his career, you give it 2-3 years, you might get choked. You might get choked. You might get body slammed because you is little. You might get body slammed. You might get slapped. You might get pinched, punched. It's going to be, or it just could be very toxic verbal abuse. Because what he did, that is 100%, 100%. You can't do that in front of millions of people and say that, you ain't know who she was. And that the man is always the catch. Like, I get it. Like, I've described too how like my wife made concessions for me because I'm 5'10" when she 5'8", so she could be with 6 foot whatever, and how I made concessions for her because what was being promoted was, I'm in the South in Florida, big booties. My wife didn't have no big booty, so it was like we both had preferences that we overlooked. Now, as far as Simone is concerned, with this gentleman, other than his person,
I told you his wife was at least 5'8". He's literally explaining his preference. And that could be a bit problematic when people, not even a bit, it's problematic. When people like use their own, they cannot get out of their own way. And that's like why another reason why men who are dating gurus, life coaches, etc., are always a problem, because they always overly taint their advice and advisement with their own personal narrow-minded thoughts. They don't really think about what people are thinking in the majority. So I knew, even as he was talking, he's explaining his wife. She's 5'8" probably. I think, like I said earlier, she looks like she's almost his height. He doesn't seem like he's that tall. I do not think he's 6 feet tall, which is for most women the ideal height for men. Like the most attractive men, they're going to say, 6 feet tall. So he's probably 5'9", 5'10" on a good day. So if you say she's 5'8", I'll give him 5'9", 5'10". But I really thought he was shorter and thought his wife was shorter than that. So obviously there's a lot of beautiful women out there who are sexy and fine as hell, and men just swoon and want them every single day without the BBLs, without all the fake stuff on them. They think these women are gorgeous. They fall all over themselves, wish they could just drink her bath water. And these are women who are under 5'5", like 5'3" and under. So yeah, his viewpoint on that on the like the height thing, for instance, is very skewed based on what he's actually, who he married, essentially. And he just said he's from Florida, I think. That explains a lot too, because Miami guys from Florida, they're going to be probably used to being around more ambiguous women because there's a lot of immigrants there, a lot of people migrating there from other countries, like European countries, Latino, I guess you call it, Spanish-speaking countries. So yeah, his viewpoint is very different. And now that I'm saying it, I honestly think his wife now is a Latina, because I couldn't figure out what she was. And Latina is not really a race. So even when people say Latina, that's not really explaining a whole lot, because there's Afro-Latinas, there's white Latinas, there's, obviously multiracial Latinas. Like, you may have an African in there somewhere, but then everyone else is lighter complected. So, but I'm pretty sure that's what his wife is she's of Latino, Latin descent.
personality and his mindset and his attitude, she probably didn't have any other preferences physically. Because he probably met the height requirement, met the teeth requirement, the complexion requirement. He probably met all her requirements physically. What he lacking at is mentally. and emotionally he's immature and a little ignorant.
And in financial means he's lacking financially. Because he doesn't make as much as her. They say he's worth $7 million. That's like a drop in the bucket for people in Simone Biles' sphere, like the people that she has access to. He is clearly, easily at the bottom of that pile of men. And that's why I was saying that she should have ended up with a white man, pull a knee, pull a Serena Williams, even a Sierra, divest. I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face. And I was one of those black worshiping women who would never in a million years have thought I would be telling black women to go outside their race. But that's exactly what I'm telling you to do, is go outside of your race. Stop dating, giving these dusty ass bandits your access to you. They don't deserve it. They haven't earned it. They, if anything, have proven themselves to be so treasonous, as Cynthia G would say, that they do not deserve to even breathe the same air as you. So why is he married to you? Why is he married? Like, that's what kills me. Like, I just cannot wrap my head around this. And I feel like she's been around people who just aren't really educating her on this, because she has been around a lot of white people. Someone said she's adopted, so she doesn't seem like she has a whole full view of her own identity. And when you don't know yourself, I can speak from experience as a child of the enslaved in America. When you don't know your roots or where you came from or who you are, it does mess with your self-esteem, because you're walking around, you don't really know who you are, so you can't really have pride in yourself, because who are you? But once I started doing, the more research I started doing and learning about my own people, the more I knew who I was, the more my self-esteem went up, the more my confidence got bigger and wider and higher, and no one could shake me. So me dating an entire textbook narcissist, it was more of a nuisance than anything else. He couldn't break me. He never was going to. He was more annoying. He was in my way. He was an obstacle that I had to get rid of, and I did. So let's finish this out, because of course this video is already getting longer than I would have liked, but I already knew it was going to be at least an hour, because I knew I was going to be offering commentary, in his video in and of itself is 30 minutes. But I might be chopping it up a bit just to kind of shorten the video, because I don't really like doing like a part 1, part 2, because you may not be able to find that video on YouTube. So the second part of the first part. So, you know how like you're watching YouTube and then just videos just might be recommended to you. They might just pop up in your feed. So I like to just put them all in one video if possible, so you can just see from beginning to end the points that I'm discussing, portraying, trying to educate, whatever point I'm trying to make. I want to do it within one video, so it's all succinct and you can get the max benefit of what I'm trying to teach you, or educate you on, or notify you of certain information. I'm trying to have it all in that one video, instead of you having to go search now, like, okay, where's part 1, or what happened in part 2, or don't even know there's a part 2, or so on. So yeah.
And then and the guy on the pivot, on the podcast, Ryan Clark, he tried to hold him accountable. Ryan is, he's married and he's a mature guy, so he tried to hold him accountable, and he gave him a face like, bro, get out of here, man. You know who this woman was. Like, who don't know Simone Biles? Like, brother, it's ants on the ground walking by my vehicle that know Simone Biles. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And if you didn't know who she was, you knew who she was in 0.5 seconds when you Googled her name, and then you had to remember from flipping around on a commercial somewhere. It's like, come on, bro. That's disrespectful to that woman. And then as a man, you're supposed to protect. You're supposed to cover for your woman. So it's like, even if she did do something desperate, like she wrote you, hey, she drove 45 minutes to see you, she can't. You supposed to cover for your woman, because you know how that look in society. It make a woman look thirsty. It make a woman look desperate. Yeah, that's supposed to be a story you take to your grave. You don't tell that publicly to millions of people and make her look like that. And boy.
And then he's saying it in a way to make himself look better, which is even more disgusting. Owens is a disgusting human being. That's all I don't even want to call him by his first name. He's like, fuck you. He's a disgusting human being. Not only are you supposed to cover her, but once she did that, he didn't even come back and say, And like I fell like head over heels in love with her. Like time we met, yes, she may have had to come to me because I was in practice or whatever. Like he said it like it was a fucking flex. You're pathetic. Like instead of doing it that way, he should have just, if he was a real man who really valued his wife, he would have said, yes, she had to come to me because I wanted to see her ASAP. Like we were already feeling each other just from talking on the phone. When I saw her pictures, I was like, oh my God, this girl's a baddie. Like she's gorgeous. And I was so desperate to meet her that we agreed that she would come to me first, but I would make it up to her. I would make it up to her. Reciprocity, balance it out. Be a man, be the hunter, be the, shit, be a predator even if you have to be, but go for your prey, go for your woman, okay? And I was just disgusted. Like, that's such a turn off to me. And he should have continued to say if he was really the right man for her, was that she did all that, and then when I saw, once I saw her in person, it was like, oh my gosh, it was even more elevated, more extra. All the feelings I had for her just was multiplied. And from then on, I was just pursuing her. I was, taking her out on dates, just showering her with flowers and love and presents and gifts and just all kinds of adoration. And I was just knowing I was going to be there for her. Like when people would say negative things about her, I did see him come out and say things in her defense. So elevate that, take that to another level, a higher level to get to be her husband. Don't be the friend, because a friend can do that. Like, oh man, y'all better don't say. Be extra. Okay, I'm gonna need extra. Searching for Simone Biles. Like I need extra. She is extra. Simone Biles is extra in and of herself. She is so extra. She is more than so many people on this planet. Okay, so it just wasn't enough energy for me. And I match energy. He wasn't doing it. No, and that's what people were outraged about, because we all felt that lack of energy. Like it was not reciprocated. The way she feels about him, we just don't feel that being returned to her, and she deserves to have that returned back to her, that same love, that same high level of energy. She deserves it. She's a whole vibe. He just needs to be a vibe. Right now, he's a dud. He's a milk dud in a box of milk duds. Like he's mediocre. He's bland as fuck. Like I'm trying to be nice here. He's just whatever. Like he would have been overlooked by me. He looks to me like any other football player who's sitting on the bench.
A good thing she black, because if she was a white woman, she would have been red as a beet. You hear me? She had that little smile, and when she smiled, she have a little look to her. She have a little unique look to her. Just everything, and so yeah.
Her smile is beautiful. It's gorgeous, by the way. I just want to say that real quickly. She is gorgeous. That's why I can't. Like, I don't agree with people. I don't care. I am the unpopular opinion over here. So her smile's beautiful. She has beautiful eyes. And I didn't see the embarrassment on her. I saw her roll her eyes. Like, she seemed more annoyed to me. Like, why are you saying this? Or, but because she's in love with him, she's not going to have so much negative energy attached to it. Because, when you're in love is blind. So people can be doing annoying things that you're in love with them. And you're like, boy, hush. Like you're a little annoyed, but everything they do is still kind of cute. That's what I saw. I didn't see embarrassed at all. Because he's said this so many damn times. I think she's used to it at this point. And I don't think anybody has ever really read him like they did on Pivot. Because one thing I love about that interview was those men in that room with him were dragging the hell out of him. Okay. Especially that one brother. Like, I don't know any of their names because I do not watch football at this point anymore. But the one with the black hoodie on, the one that was making most of the faces, he's so funny. I don't know his name, but he was definitely dragging Owens, and the other guys were dragging the hell out of him. Like, really? Like, Simone Biles is the catch. Everybody in this room knows it. You know it, but you're too insecure to sit in your masculinity and admit it. You're not confident enough to say my wife is the catch. Like, you damn right. Like, I pursued the hell out of her. It may not have been after looks. Maybe once he had to see all her accomplishments, who she really is, then I pursued her. I would even respect that. I would be okay with that. Because like I said, attraction is a lot of things. It's not just looks. It could be a whole total package. So she may not have been his typical type. He may have been an airhead and typically just went for vanilla as mediocre white girls or, Latinas or whatever he's been conditioned to find attractive. But once you see her accomplishments, you figure out like, whoa, because let's say pretend, I don't believe him for a minute, but let's pretend that he doesn't know who she is. Once you know somebody is like who she is, then you should be like, oh my gosh, like she's a catch. Like this girl has done so much in her short life that she's been on this planet so far. Like almost nobody's going to accomplish what she's accomplished. She's the most highly decorated gymnast in history. And in history, I don't give a fuck about United States history. In history, period. So that alone, as him being an athlete as well, a pro athlete, he should understand that better than anybody. That like, wow, like she's a catch. Like, oh my gosh, like like Simone Biles is like checking for me. Okay, let me amp up my extra to like make sure I secure this woman. Like I lock her down, not secure the bag, which I was thinking that because that's what I feel like he's really doing. But he should have been like, I need to lock this woman down before she gets away from me. Let me catch her. So, yeah, I when you love yourself as much as I love myself, it's really hard to understand the dynamic of what's happening right now with Simone and her guy. I love myself so much that I had to build my own self-esteem. Like growing up as a little girl, black girl in America, like no, nobody was giving me self-esteem. TV, even my mom, when she was drinking, she would say stupid shit sometimes about whatever, because she's a narcissist as well. That's a long story. I'll talk about that another day. The men around me, the boys around me, like no one gave me self-esteem. My dad was probably the only man that would say I was beautiful. But of course, like who's listening to their parents? You're like, okay, dad, you have to say that. You're my dad. So I didn't take that seriously. Like it wasn't like really any real value, because as a girl, you want to hear from the boys you like. You want to hear from the men you fall for or whatever. Anyways, I developed my self-esteem as a young girl before I even left home, which is even more powerful that I was strong enough to do that. But the beautiful thing about it is the fact that I had to develop my own self-esteem. No one gave it to me. It means no one can ever take it away. Do you hear me? The fact that I had to develop and build and give myself my own high level, astronomical levels of self-esteem means no one can ever take it away. And trust me, they have tried and failed. So because I love myself at this high ass level that like people can't even like imagine, it's like astronomically up there in the heavens somewhere, how much I love myself, that I cannot even anywhere understand what Simone Biles is doing. Like I can see what she's doing, but I can't wrap my head around it. I can't put myself in her shoes. Like I'm struggling to put myself in her shoes at her big age, because she is a whole woman. She's 26. She's not even like 16. She may not be 40 something, but she's in her realm of what she's doing right now. She's old enough. She's up there a bit in age for where she is, what she's doing, getting married, etc. And I because I did give myself my own self-esteem in my, I would say I was like around maybe between teen years. I can't understand being 26 and just not being like a whole bitch. Like I said, bitch. That should be a new word I create, a boss bitch. That's what I wanted to say. But I can imagine being like that age and not being a whole boss bitch. Like, bitch, like you should be so glad, so lucky to be even near me, like to even breathe in my presence. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't tell me nothing. And I'm not saying like be egotistical and arrogant, because I don't think those traits are attractive either. But I definitely know who I am. And Simone Biles needs to know who she is. And I pray that as she gets older, she develops a healthy, strong self-esteem that's powerful, that's like unfuckable, unformidable. Like you just formidable, where you cannot even dream of puncturing through it. You couldn't bring a whole wrecking ball and puncture through the strength that she knows and that she has within herself, of like her abilities, her attractiveness, her confidence level is just so high, it's unshakable. It's unbreakable. And like the way she's responding right now is clear she does not have that yet. Just the fact that she's with that guy shows she doesn't have it. And another thing that someone said that I agree with, the good thing is she's listening to us though. So the fact that she's listening to us, we know this because she's responding. That makes me like have some kind of happiness to know that she hears what we're saying. And she's very intelligent. I can tell, I know she is. So even if she's not admitting it, she knows what we're saying is true to some degree. And that's why she's coming out and trying to defend it. But she's giving Tiana Taylor and Cardi B. I'm like, why do the women always defend the dust? And then they come out later and they're being made the fools of. We already know where this is ending and how it's going to look. And I'm just like, girl, please be quiet, because when he comes out and the embarrassment comes out, because it's going to come out, like he's been with some other female over the weekend or whatever, we don't want people to have to look back and look at like all the times you defended this mess of a marriage. And I wouldn't say anything, honestly. Just prove that your marriage is worth it and is good by just being. Ignore the trolls. Go out and shop for Christmas. You all have the money. I mean, go skiing. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just live your best lives. Shit. Why? Like, the fact that you're even worrying about us, taking pictures, posting it so we can see it, like that to me tells me you're worried about what people think because you low-key know they're telling the truth, or you're just bothered by it. It's just not a good look. Like, there's no way. You couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me to care about random internet people. I would be shopping, sleeping with my man. I mean, that's your new husband. You're a newlywed. Like, we would be in the bed eating food and intimacy. Okay, we don't just keep it PG. Having some intimacy and eating food and watching Christmas Carol movies and living our best life. That's what the hell we be doing. I wouldn't know I wouldn't know what people were talking about. I wouldn't care. And that's the thing with her. She cares too much. I see her responding way too much to people about stuff. And that kind of stuff will get to you when you care. The good thing is, like, if you do it too much, you might start to build a wall up against it as well. Because America definitely knows how to condition people to become some narcissists. Narcissists do not care about you talking bad about them. It goes in one ear and out the other. And I'm not saying become a narcissist, but have some narcissistic tendencies. You can adapt. You can learn how to take the good from bad things and learn how to just like be able to reset and be like, I'm unbothered. Or even if you're triggered, you respond and you can move on. You don't like wallow in it. Let me finish this out because I have some groceries I had to go put away.
She was embarrassed. And see, the thing is this what the guys know that on the look scale that she wouldn't be seen as like what America would call gorgeous, or like drop dead gorgeous, or like stunningly beautiful. Like she's a pretty woman, cute woman, whatever. But the men knew that. So when they said, how did you pull Simone Biles? For one, they phrased it like that because she was sitting there. But then two, they really was talking, that was really a gold digger question. It was really like, it was kind of like, how did you get a goat? Like, how did you get, which what they don't realize, any man could have got her. Any man of means could have got her, because I doubt her standards as far as looks concerned could be super duper high. I mean, look at Serena Williams' husband. Ain't no women falling out over him. And he got Serena Williams, and she's equally as much of a GOAT as Simone Biles, if not bigger than Simone Biles, because people around the world like tennis, whereas not everybody care about gymnastics around the world, especially American gymnastics, because you're going to just rep for your country. But if you like tennis, you could be a fan of Serena and you on the other side of the world just because you like tennis, especially if you ain't got nobody from your country representing in at a high level in tennis. So I mean, look at Serena Williams' husband. It's not like he not fit, he not muscular. You know, he ain't got like features that women falling out over. And the same thing with him is Serena doesn't have the features that men fall out over either. You know, now she got that shape on her now. That's something that men fall out. But you got to remember, Common was with her, and Common, you know, didn't secure the marriage, didn't lock it all the way in. Like, I don't know what Common was thinking about, and Common starting to make me wonder about him. But he could have went through something as a child. Like I think he got some childhood trauma, because just how he be bouncing from woman to woman, and just the women he be dealing with. Do not be. I don't know if he just got something going on with Common. Give me a call, Common. You got something going on with you, but give me a call. But like I say, Serena Williams is, and see, this is the thing. When you get deprogrammed, you could see the beauty. You could see Serena Williams is beautiful. You could see that's what you would call a beautiful black queen, a Nubian queen, or a beautiful woman. But her lips, her nose, her physique, none of that is promoted by the movies and the media. So what I'm trying to help y'all understand is, I'm not saying that somebody was like, oh, black people are beautiful and we all know that. No, we don't all know that. That's what you call self-hate. That's why so many black men and black women go into another race that they see as better and superior, because they don't love themselves. Now, it's some blacks who go to other races and marry other races organically and authentically, but it's a lot who go to another race solely because of self-hate. So no, we don't all know that black people are beautiful. Those of us who are deprogrammed, and we could look at a person for a person, and we could see the beauty through God's eyes, the way God sees it, then we could see the beauty in all shapes, sizes, colors, heights, weights, income levels, and all of that. So this is what you got to understand. What we just found out is that Simone Biles is in a toxic relationship, unfortunately. Toxic doesn't have to be physical. Toxic doesn't have to be draining every day. But she has a husband who has a toxic mentality. And that's a dangerous mentality, because if life turns unfavorable for him, it could be very scary for Simone behind closed doors.
And the sad thing is that life for him is already unfavorable, because he does think so highly of himself. He's so in love with himself that the fact that his wife already makes more money than him, that in and of itself is a problem. That is unfavorable to him. And the crazy thing is, males like this, they love to get with accomplished women. He is exhibiting some narcissistic tendencies, but they love to get with accomplished, well-achieving, high-achieving women. But then they want to break you down, because their ego says, I deserve a Simone Biles. I deserve someone on a very high level like this. But then their ego cannot handle it. Their confidence and self-esteem is very low or insecure and non-existing. So then they now have to humble her. They have to break her down, have to bring her down to their low-ass, dusty-ass level. And so he was starting out already around the eight ball, around the curve behind Simone, because it's like you went after a woman trying to get her back. You chose her and was resting in your own femininity and allowed yourself to be caught, quote unquote, caught by Simone Biles because of her money. You're being a whole gold digger. But now the same things that attracted you to her are the things that are bothering you, because you know low key that's not what a man should be doing. You know low key that a woman should not be providing for you. She should not be the breadwinner. She should not be making more money than you. So the same things that made you rest in your femininity, you now hate it, because you know deep down that you are supposed to be moving in masculine energy, and men do not like to be provided for. They know that they are in fact, actual providers. So checkmate. You basically tried to play the game and you lost. You're already losing, because even though you may get money from her because, she was crazy enough to marry your ass and she's the breadwinner, she makes more money than you. And where's your career going? Who knows? No one even knows you. The fact that you're worth $7 million, and I think you've been in the NFL for like 3 years at least already. Who are you? And you're only getting older. Your career is not that much longer either. And a lot of black male athletes, has been proven that, like, within a few years of them ending their, athletic career, they are broke because you don't know how to invest. People who don't know how to invest their money and don't know how to use money as a tool, but instead worship the money. They just know how to spend it and consume. And so the money is going to run out at some point when you do that because you don't know how to make the money work for you. You don't know how to make it a tool where it's going to multiply even more money to come towards you. You're just going to spend and spend and spend until it's no longer there, especially when you no longer have a job. No one's paying you. The white man's not paying you anymore. What are you going to do now? And Tony Gaskins did touch on that when he said, if you can't finagle your way into another career pivot and come into another career like the Pivot podcast or channel that you were giving your interview on, or like a Shannon Sharp or a Michael Strahan who went on to be newscasters of some sort. If you can't manage to do that, not only are you now going to lose your lust for fame and look at me status that you so desperately seem to need, but you're also not going to have money anymore. You're not going to have a white man cutting you a check. And we know you don't know how to invest because your dusty mindset has already told me that you are so dusty that you don't think at a high level in no way, shape, or form. You're very low vibrational. And so you're going to run through your money, probably run through hers too, gambling, buying prostitutes, whatever you're doing with yourself is extremely low vibe. And you're going to lose your value. You're going to continue to lose your value because I don't think he's that attractive to begin with. And people only get older with age and they start to look worse and worse. So, yeah. Okay. He's already in an unfavorable position because he got with the woman for her money. And men, real men, don't do that. Every man on that panel, they were looking dusty, but the way they were responding makes me feel like they probably are the breadwinners in their relationships. They know enough to know that I am a protector, I am the provider, and you set your ass on that interview and did neither. You didn't protect or provide for your wife. You're an embarrassment. That alone makes you lose some of your currency, some of your status. Nobody who would want to marry him. Like, oh yeah, he has light eyes, which to me, again, is another feminine thing. To want somebody with light eyes, that's feminine. Masculine men are darker. It's just weird. Like the whole thing is just too much. He has already lost. He knows it. That's why he sat on the interview and was trying to regain a lot of what he has lost. But you can't, it doesn't work that way. It's not just words. It's a whole mindset which he doesn't possess. He doesn't have. And Simone's like, oh, one day I'm going to be Mrs. Owens. No, you're not. No, you're not. He knows it. You know it. We all know it. He's never going to be a bigger name than her. He's always going to be Mr. Biles. He knows this. And the thing that pisses me off the most is that you were stupid enough to go after a woman who's bigger than you. And now you can't handle that. Your ego, your arrogance, your narcissism will not allow you to handle the fact that your wife is more accomplished. She's a better athlete than you. She makes more money than you. She's more famous than you. She's everything of more than you. And you just desperately need to be more because you're so pathetic. And because you know, like I said, men are supposed to provide and you don't. What a joke. Another thing I wanted to comment on really quickly is Tony Gaskins talking about is Common. He was like, oh, Serena Williams, he basically trying to imply that she's not all that or whatever because Common didn't. Fuck Common. Fuck black guys and their ghetto, degenerate ass, dusty ass mentality. Like, that is not a flex. That is not nothing to write home about. Nobody cares. Everybody knows how pathetic black guys are. That's why black people are at the bottom of the totem pole all over the place. Every continent you touch ground on, black people are at the bottom. Because the black males who are the leaders, they're leading us right off cliffs. All over the damn globe, all over the world, all over the place, everywhere you look. Common didn't know what he had. He jumps from one woman to another like a clown. It doesn't look cute when men are community peeing either when they're for the streets. That's why everybody's starting to now jump behind women because black women do lead the world. We are the most highly influential. I don't give a shit what this world says. I don't care. I don't care. Common is for the streets and everyone knows it, especially now because black women are not putting him on a pedestal. We're looking at him sideways. We are side-eyeing Common, and we're looking at him like, what the fuck were you thinking? You lost Serena Williams. And guess who scooped her? A white man who's worth more than Common just for being white. Okay? He has more status and currency just out of his whiteness. Being a white man, no less. What a dumbass comment. I'm glad he fumbled Serena Williams and that she knew her worth enough to get better. Every black woman needs to take notes. You will not see me with another black male. You just won't. Their mindsets are so dusty. I don't care how much money they make. They have the most awful mindsets. There's no way you're about to see me like entangle myself with that again. The mindset is everything and everything else follows. Everything. When you have a dusty mind, you're going to have a dusty life. Because you have to think it before you can achieve it. If you're already thinking in a dusty mind, in a dusty manner, your life will reflect that.
So to this young man, if you see this, which I'm going to Google his name so I can put his name in the title, so he might see this, give him a call. I ain't coming for you. I'm just telling you the truth, and you know I'm telling the truth, so holla at me. I played football too, and I'm a man, and I done had women, and I understand it. Holla at me. You need to change that mindset, though, because that's dangerous to tell yourself you the prize and be thinking like that. You looking down on your woman and, you know, all that, and then putting all your business in the street is very immature. Don't ever do it again. You need to do a public apology because you publicly humiliated her. You need to publicly apologize as a man. And then you need to stand on that, and you need to admit that you was wrong, realize that you was wrong, realize you've been listening to punks online, and you need to start listening to grown, married, faithful men who know what it is to be a man, and stop listening to these punks you've been listening to, and give them a call. God bless you. We'll talk soon.
All right, so he did end that on a wonderful note. I do agree with the last few seconds that I allowed to play, and I wish this man would call, I'll call him a male until he becomes a man, but Owens needs to contact Tony Gaskins and try to get some help because he has been listening to the wrong people online. He has been surrounded by the wrong people in the locker rooms or wherever he's at. Probably grew up with a single mother, didn't have a father to teach him what manhood really looks like. When you have a man, when the first man that you love and you're like in love with is fleeing his responsibilities. Yeah. Okay. So thanks for watching, everyone. I have to go. Video's way too long. It's almost 2 hours now. But make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you're loving the content, want to support my channel. Hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss any videos. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye. And also happy holidays. Bye.